And hello and welcome, everybody. This is Big John, your host of the post game, sponsored by Ellisville Family Dental Clinic, Dr. Steven Serber. He's a big sports fan and post game fan and loves watching and listening to high school football. And I smell a skunk, so somebody aggravated a skunk. I mean, we're out in the country here, so that would happen. But that's something us country folks know about, smelling skunk. Most of them at West Jones wouldn't know what a skunk smell was because they all from Laurel. But we thank y'all for listening. This is Tiger Talk, all things Tiger. But we got a guest with us tonight, Kinsley.
We do.
Yeah, we got James Pugh from Sports601.com. Now, you'll be able to hear all about the game tonight from Coach Pearson, Coach Braddock. They'll even have scores from all across the state. So that's pretty cool that they get out there and get them scores for us because, you know, as football fans, we always like to look at other teams' score and see how teams do that we got to play next week. Now, the Tigers will play Collins next week in a game that could be a win for the Tigers. And I say that literally because both teams are the Tigers, and one of the Tigers will win. That's just a gimme, Kinsley. So the Tigers, the thing that really hurt them tonight, and this is, for me, my commentary looking in, was turnovers.
Right.
I mean, they had 3 turnovers, 2 fumbles, 1 interception, and that was really the deal breaker. I mean, if you look at the score, that says it all, 33-0, West Jones. And I think that the turnovers played a big battle. But, you know, it's a long season. This game doesn't matter other than pride, you know. But give the Mustangs credit. They shut out the Tigers for 2 years in a row now. But that means the Tigers need to at least score next year in the jungle, Kinsley. And what was y'all's thoughts on the game? And we're going to kind of break the game down and kind of call it the way we saw it from our points of view.
John, to me, the Mustangs showed up, but Tigers didn't. I mean, just the style of play. I mean, we kind of just kept the same identity on the offense and defense. I mean, we changed personnel, but when we made the change, at that point, it really didn't matter. So I think if we could have made the changes that we did early on, it possibly could have made a difference because one thing that I noticed when we did switch the quarterbacks to Creed Johnson, the offense actually started clicking a little bit. I mean, they started, gaining yards. So, I mean, that's some improvement from what was previously happening. And, not trying to knock the first string offense, but it's just saying sometimes you just have to make changes. And, I mean, that's what we did. And I noticed the difference, but we did turn the ball over a couple of times. And then sometimes on defense, we had opportunities to create turnovers, and we didn't capitalize. So, I mean, we just really just kind of painted ourselves into a corner tonight and took a loss because of it. But great effort by both teams. But we just the Tigers just came up on the short end of the stick.
You always
tonight.
hate to lose one to West, though, but you always hate that as Tigers.
Yeah, because it's just like the biggest rivalry game. I mean,
for us, it is.
I
mean, you have South, but I mean, and that should be pretty favorable for the Tigers this year. But we'll see. We'll wait and see. But let's get James' point of view and see what he thinks about what he saw from the sideline.
When you think about this game, you really have to give credit to West Jones's defense. Last week they really held Wayne County, to 10 points, and even Wayne County's defense was pretty good last week, and it didn't allow for the offense for West Jones to really get in a rhythm and get to clicking. They only had 2 field goals in that game. And when they come into this game, you, like I said, you have to give credit to West Jones's defense. They really shut Northeast down, created some turnovers, got points off of turnovers. And when they did get the ball off of turnovers, they were really set up in some really good field position. So that hurt the Tigers tonight to have those fumbles and those interceptions deep within, their own territory that allowed West Jones to get points off of it. And really, if you look at the scoreboard, this game could have been worse because West Jones had 2 touchdowns that were called back. I know one of them, West did get 3 points off of it, I believe, but the other one, Northeast did stop them. So this game could be worse on the scoreboard than it really was. Just for Northeast Jones, they just got to regroup, get together, and when they face Collins next week, just try to get in a rhythm. Just didn't get in a rhythm tonight, and that's what I think hurt them the worst.
Well, you said it the most. They really didn't have good field position the whole night. It seems like they averaged starting from about the 23, 20-yard line. And against a talented team like West Jones, you really had to start from the 30 and 40 to really be able to drive the football.
Yeah, I mean, when you think about that, and we talked about, them not getting in good field position, a lot of that has to do with Walker Thompson. The punter for West Jones, pinning them deep. It had them pinned deep about the 4-yard line one time. He's just a special kid. He can punt the ball really good and had several good field goals tonight. So, with them being in not so great field position, a lot of that goes to Walker Thompson being able to pin them deep and make them play the length of the field rather than having a good field position.
That's true. West Jones has always had talented kickers through the years. Northeast hasn't had one since Cole Bird. But if you look at it, Thompson is going to Ole Miss, and it showed tonight why Ole Miss wants him on the team, because he can really place the ball where he wants it. And so that's really, good for him, and Ole Miss is getting a heck of a kicker. So next week the Tigers will play Collins, a battle of the Tigers. And Kinsley, what's your early game prediction? Way too soon prediction.
I'll go ahead and I'm always pulling for the Tigers. I'll say they'll put up by a touchdown.
Okay.
It's going to be a pretty close game to me because Collins to me is a pretty talented team. They have some talent.
They do. And Coach Braddock, like he told us earlier, he couldn't find other 4A schools to play us because they still think that we are the team of the 90s, and it's long been that way. But he's playing all these tough teams, tough 2A teams, and 2A teams in this area can compete with 2A, 4A, and 5A schools. Just look at Jeff Davis County going down and playing Niceville, Florida last year, a Florida 6A power. So that shows it right there. So James, what's your way too early prediction?
We talk about the 2A teams that Northeast Jones has to play this year. They do have a tough non-division schedule. When you look at Collins, you look at Bay Springs, you look at Taylorsville, these are 3 teams that I think our 2A winner this year is probably going to come out of those 3 teams. Collins brings back a lot of guys this year. Talented quarterback. Booth has got them rolling these last couple years. You got Bay Springs tonight, who's currently right now beating Philadelphia, who was ranked in the top 5 in 2A this year. You have Taylorsville that won 2A last year, and with their quarterback, they have a shot to go deep in the playoffs this year. So the Northeast, even though they're playing teams that are down in classification, these are really good teams. And if I had to pick right now, I would probably say I think Collins is going to win this game next week. I just got a text here from one of my buddies. Collins is down to Jeff Davis County 24-19, so it's a very competitive ball game, and we know how good Jeff Davis County is, the former Bassville guys. So it's going to be another challenging night for the Tigers of Northeast Jones next week.
Yeah, it certainly will. And you got to think that, hey, maybe the Tigers have a shot at, catching Collins coming off a loss, and getting them there in the jungle. I'm gonna say Northeast wins it, and I'm probably being a homer, but I'm gonna go with the Tigers winning 27-23. Okay. So one set of the Tigers will win. We know that to be certain.
We do know that.
So after that, the Tigers will take on South Jones from the reservation, and we're looking for another exciting game there, another county matchup.
Do we have a score on that game?
Last I checked, South Jones was leading 34-27 at Hancock with 6 minutes left to go in the game. We're going to see here from the scoreboard if we have any change in that game, but that's what we have so far.
Speaking of other Jones County teams, you guys want to talk about the big game tomorrow night?
Yeah, we can talk about that a little bit, Kinsley. It don't look like traffic's going anywhere, so we got a little time here. James, we'll start off with you. What about the Jug game tomorrow? What do you think in that one?
This rivalry never disappoints. I remember a couple years ago when the game was being played between the Bricks. Laurel had a commanding lead in that game with 4 minutes left in the ball game, and Hattiesburg comes on a tear and scores 28 points in the last 4 to 3 minutes of the ball game and wins in that rivalry game. And just ever since that game, for me, this rivalry has just been very special to watch. And I believe it's going to be another good one tomorrow night. When you think about Laurel, you normally think about a passing game because in years past they've always had a good quarterback and a good solid core of receivers. This year and last year they're going to be more run-oriented. So it's going to be interesting to see, Laurel this year and how they play with an offense that they're not very accustomed to. They did pretty well last year with their two running backs, Michael Terrell and Perryman. And I think those guys are going to have a good night tomorrow. But I'm still going to have to say that Hattiesburg is probably going to win this game. The Connor kid, quarterback, the Memphis commit at Hattiesburg, he's just one of the good players we got in this area, and he's going to be hard to beat.
Give me a score.
I can't remember exactly what my prediction was, but I did have Hattiesburg winning by 7. I would say 35-28.
Okay. Kinsley, how about you?
I think I'm going to go with James here on the score prediction. I've been, kind of keeping up with the rivalry for quite some time, ever since, Akeem Davis was quarterback and Keon Howard, was going through Laurel. But, they always play each other really well. The rivalry just gets even more intense every year because each year they always have a great team. And, it's like a high-scoring fair. That's really what it is. Just like teams scoring back-to-back. So they always play each other really great, and really it's like the games are so close. It's like whoever has the ball last is really who wins. And so games like that, and they just really keep you plugged in and really keep you in tune to what's going on. So, I'm gonna pull for the Tornadoes. It's close to home, and like you, I'm a homer. But, yes, there's a but. I'm going to say that Hattiesburg is going to pull it out. I'm going to say it's either going to be at least as close as by a touchdown.
And you have to think about in this rivalry, you think of not last year, but the 3 years before that. Whoever won in the Jug game, the other team got their revenge in the playoffs. Hattiesburg won 3 straight in this series in the Jug game, and then Laurel and Hattiesburg play each other in the playoffs, and for 3 straight years, Laurel got their revenge
exactly.
on Hattiesburg. Last year, Hattiesburg won the Jug game and then edged Laurel in South State. So, whoever wins this game tomorrow night, the other team could easily win the game if they meet in the playoffs.
Right.
Oh, yes. So, I'm going to say Hattiesburg 35, Laurel 15.
Okay.
So I think Hattiesburg going to run away with it in the second half and start airing it out. So that's what I think. But thank you guys for listening to our post game. We're going to hear a round of word from our sponsors. Again, thank you to Central Sunbelt Federal Credit Union. Give them a big shout out. Also, you have 601 Graphics, Stacy Sims Barber, Ellisville Family Dental Clinic, Tactical Combat Defense Class in Waynesboro, Tactical Combat